Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video. Now, today I'm going to be talking about what probably is the most important topic in Kingdoms Reborn, kind of sneaky. It is going to be logistics, how the AI of these little guys work, and how goods get across your city. So if you've ever been or had a city that hits about like 300 population, and then it just kind of locks up and things freeze and you just can't get anything done, this is going to be talking about that. If you've moved up to higher difficulties and noticed that even though you have, two people employed in your stone tool shop, they're just like not actually producing because they're not anywhere actually in the shop because they're off doing who knows what. I'm going to talk about that. And then if you have noticed that your farms don't actually fully get harvested, or if there's, stuff left in the fields, then it gets to winter and all of your, harvest is destroyed, I'm going to talk about that. So the first thing I want to go over is what exactly a person does every day. So I'm gonna have this example person, Abraham. He works in this ranch down here, and he lives across the street in this house. So the way that this will work is he will sit around and work and like kill sheep or do whatever until one of his needs gets low. So for food, he will obviously just go and get something to eat. For heat, he'll actually go back to his house. And then use a fuel source that he has gotten and put into his house that is stored there to warm himself up. And then he'll go back to, whatever he was doing before. For health, obviously he'll get like medicine or medicinal herbs. And then if his tools run out, he'll go and grab some tools. Iron tools actually last longer than stone tools, so your people will spend less time walking around to go get tools, which is one of the reasons why they're more efficient. So obviously you want your people to be as near as possible to their job site, and this need will scale up as you get to higher difficulties, because not only will like this person on higher difficulties like eat more food and like get cold and need more coal, they'll actually get hungry faster and need coal faster. So they'll be walking around away from their place of work more often at higher difficulties. So where you place everything becomes significantly more important. That's why if you're playing on like deity or something, and you notice like, you have like a building and it's officially fully staffed, but like things aren't actually happening in that building, that's because your people are off, solving their needs and not actually working. One of the ways there are kind of two ways to make this more efficient. One is you want production near your houses that will be used by your houses, right? So one of the reasons why I like charcoal burners over like coal mines, for example, is simply because you can place them throughout your empire. So I have 3 up here. I have plans to build some charcoal burners probably up here north. And then I have a charcoal burner down here. And so this will spread the charcoal or the coal across your empire so that when a house needs it, it will be faster for them to go and get it. This is also the case with food. It's not as big of an issue like at 200 population, but as you get to like 500 or 1,000, if all your food is on one side of your city, then it becomes a major problem. You kind of want to spread it out and have multiple food centers. And then the other big way to kind of help solve this issue is markets. Now, markets are one of my favorite buildings in this game. They're super, super useful. You want them across your entire empire. And what they do is they pick up all of the resources that a person will need just to kind of live their life, like all the luxury resources, all of the fuel and medicine and everything, and they'll bring it to a central location. So you want to put your markets in every single like cluster of houses that you have. And these horses that move a lot faster than a normal person will go out and grab everything that is needed and put it in a market so that, when this guy needs to go get coal or go get food or something, he can just go straight to this market and back to his house and back to the ranch. Let's see here. One other thing is that as houses grow or level up, they will need more and more luxuries, and your people have to go and get those luxuries. And as time passes, the luxuries will slowly tick down. They'll get used up. And so they constantly need to be refilled with more luxuries. Otherwise, you'll have houses demote on you. So that's another thing that your people have to walk around to kind of keep their houses stocked with what they want to do. And it's another reason why it's really good to have markets and stuff like that, because they'll bring the luxuries to an area close to the house. So that's how kind of the population side of logistics work for your city. The other side of this is how your like buildings work. So, how does the wheat get into the windmill, and how does this flour get into this bakery? And the key to that is these laborers. So laborers are kind of like the blood vessels of your town. They pick up all the resources. They get them from point A to point B. They get them around your city. The typical kind of rule of thumb for how many laborers you want is roughly 10% at least of your workforce should be laborers, just to keep kind of everything moving. If you get lower than that, you just run into a city that just kind of locks up because the different people and different producers in the city can't get the inputs and outputs that they need to keep going. If you go over to this employment bureau, you can actually check this box, and you can set a minimum amount of laborers. That will be the first thing. So that'll be the highest priority job in your entire city. And that's something I recommend, especially if you're newer, just so that you don't accidentally run out of laborers. It'll just automatically prioritize these laborers. And you can just hit the arrow and keep it going up as your city grows. As you'll notice, I have more than 10% laborers. That's for a reason. So the reason why you'd want more than 10% is if you're trying to grow quickly. So if you have a lot of immigration offices, you get a lot more people. Each person needs a house. They need increased food capacity. They need increased charcoal burners. They need a lot of extra infrastructure to support those people. So you're going to be building heavily if you're growing faster. And for that reason, you're going to need more laborers because, every single time you set down a building, it needs to be filled up with the resources, then someone needs to build it. And so if you're trying to grow quickly, you will need more than 10% laborers. One thing that makes is kind of like a more efficient laborer is when you get to hauling services. So the normal person walking around will be able to carry up to 10. This guy has 7 wood. He'll be able to carry up to 10 of one good. What a hauler can do is he can carry up to 50, right? So that's 5 times the actual capacity of carrying around. Now, oftentimes they won't get anywhere near 50. It's kind of rare that they'll actually be at a place with exactly 50 of what they need to move around. They'll, be sitting at 20 or 30 or something like that. But these hauling services and putting them spacing them around your empire is very important. Specifically, you want to put them near places where you're going to have a lot of bulk goods. So a place where you don't really need a hauler is something like a potter, because a potter only needs 10 input and he only produces 9 output. So that's something that one normal person can just carry themselves, right? Where you want to put them is near something like a bakery. So this bakery is going to put out 97 bread, and that's either going to be 10 trips from a normal laborer or 2 trips from a hauler, right? So that's a lot more efficient for something like a hauler. You also always want to have haulers near your farms, because when harvesting time comes, these haulers will go through and they'll just be like little vacuum cleaners. They'll vacuum up all of the goods and be able to take them to the granary or whatever very, very quickly and a lot more efficiently than just random laborers kind of picking them up one at a time. And so if you see that your farms and stuff are just taking a long time to get harvested and you're just not getting the production out of them, and then it becomes winter, and then all of the resources in the farms just kind of are destroyed, put down hauling services near your farms, and that'll help you out a lot. And then the other thing is make sure you have houses near your farms, because you need to have population or people that are actually near enough to the farm so they can work the farm and then get back to the house and then get back to the farm to harvest and stuff like that. So if you're having farm issues, farms are kind of the most obvious way to see if you're having logistical issues, because it's just you can actually see what's happening on all these farms and what the work is being done. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. Yes. So for techs, hauling services isn't a priority tech, but it's definitely a very good one. You're going to want to research logistics 1 sometimes relatively quickly. I always prioritize logistics 2 a lot. I think markets are very, very powerful, especially as your city grows, and then especially on higher difficulties, because your people are just going to be walking around trying to get goods significantly more often. Logistics 5, I think, is very good, doubling the hauling capacity of all your citizens. That just makes everything run a lot more efficiently, just kind of getting things from point A to point B. Stone Roads is also kind of sneaky, very powerful because it's going to make everyone move 30% faster so they can spend more time actually, working their jobs instead of running around. Let's see. I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. One final thing is you want your trading posts or trading ports near the center of your empire or kind of near where you want to have a lot of people because they're going to have a giant bulk of goods coming in. And I also like putting hauling services next to them because if you're going to, take in 100 blueberries and 100 cabbages because, well, I'm slowly trying to get up my food production here, having a lot of laborers around and a lot of haulers around to be able to carry that and disperse it throughout your city is going to be very important. And with that, thanks for watching my little guide here. If you have any questions or something, make sure to comment. I'll definitely read it, and good luck with your next city.